Hello again, friends. Today, we move on to Chapter 3 of the exciting tale of Sigurd. So far, our hero has wrestled with two giantesses and drank some incredible mead, and there is one giantess still to come, and she's worse than her sisters. Let's find out as we continue the tale of Sigurd, his meeting with Helga. It was early morning when Sigurd left the home of the second giantess. I thought she was on a rock. But night had nearly fallen before his ball stopped at the foot of the highest rock he had yet to come to. On the summit stood the huge figure he had last seen on that fatal day at the palace. Her head seemed to touch the clouds, and a terrible smile played on her lips as she looked down at the prince. "Aha! So you have followed me, as I said? Up, comrade, up! You shall have your wish, and see how you like a contest with me in person." Sigurd didn't really wish for this. You sort of forced it upon him. I think the giant may have a warped view of reality. But Sigurd's heart did not fail him. "Draw me up," he said. "I have a message for you from my stepmother, Queen the Borg." Then the giantess drew him up, as her sisters had done, and he presented the last and largest of the golden rings. This pleased her immensely, and she proposed that they should at once wrestle for victory, without waiting any longer. Feeling that on this combat all his future happiness depended, and just when he thought he could hold out no longer, the giantess reached him a horn of mead, which, as before, gave him supernatural strength, and he forced her to her knees. Look, I'm sure Sigurd is all that and a bag of chips, but size-wise, the giant is being attacked by a house cat. How could he force her to her knees? In a moment, he felt that his withered side was healed. The glow of perfect health came over him, and he could have sung aloud and danced for joy. "Thou hast conquered, Sigurd, the king's son," the giantess said. "Conquered in fair fight. I am no longer thine enemy. My power over thee is gone forever." Why did she have power over him in the first place? Did I miss a chapter? "Now go forth. Not far from here is the lake. There thou wilt see a maiden rocking herself in a boat. Give her this small ring, and it will be of use to thee. Thou art a brave youth, and I have done that for thee which I would not do for anyone else. Thy strength is now fully restored to thee, and thou shalt succeed in all thine undertakings." Kind of takes the danger out of the rest of the story. I mean, if we know he's always going to succeed, we could just say, "The end now." With grateful thanks, Sigurd bade her farewell, and took his way to the lake she had told him of. All through the night he went on, and when the morning sun arose, he saw the glitter of its rays on the water. As he reached the shore, he beheld a lovely girl in a tiny green and gold boat, gently rocking herself to and fro on the waves, close to the edge of the water.
For the people all said, sit down, you're rocking the boat. People all said, sit down, you're rocking the boat.
Sigurd approached, doffed his cap, and ventured to ask her name. "My name is Helga," she said, "and I live yonder with my father," pointing to a castle in the distance. Then Sigurd showed her the ring he had received from the giantess. "I have come all this way to give it to you," he said. "Fate has decreed that we are going to be great friends. Will you accept it and wear it always?" Well, at least he said friends and not, "Hey, I know we just met, but marry me." "I have no friends," Helga answered. "I will gladly have you for one and wear your ring." So he placed it on her finger, and they rowed in the little boat and wandered about the woods on the shores of the lake until the sun began to sink behind the hills. "Alas," cried Helga when she saw the slanting rays, "it is getting late. I must away home." "I will come too," Sigurd answered. "No, no," she cried in a terrified voice. "My father allows no stranger to enter our home. He would certainly kill you if he found you. No, you must not come." And she set off running. "Yeah, good luck with this. Sigurd is very bad at the whole leave me alone thing." Sigurd ran too, and came up with her just as they reached the door. Helga put out her hand, the one which bore the ring he had given her, to stop him. In a moment, the young prince had disappeared, and where he stood, there now was only a huge bundle of wool. Did not see that coming. Helga then realized that the ring he had given her was a magic one, which she must use for his protection, because he's an idiot who doesn't listen to people. She at once lifted up the bundle of wool in her arms, carried it into the castle hall, and threw it up on a high shelf. At that instant her father came striding in. He was a giant of great size. Taking no notice of his daughter, he began searching in all the corners, and finding nothing, cried out in an angry voice, "Where has he gone? What was that I saw you carrying, child?" Notice he immediately assumes it's a he. "Only a bundle of wool, father," Helga answered, as fearlessly as she could. "Ah, it must have been that, but I thought I saw someone with you," he muttered, and soon after retired to his room. The next morning, when Helga went out as usual, she carried the bundle of wool with her, and when she reached the boat, she touched it with her ring, and Sigurd regained his natural form. They rowed to a more distant part of the lake, and spent another happy day together. Sigurd told Helga all about his stepmother and his love for her. "I owe everything to her kindness," he said, "and I shall never be really happy till I have finished this journey and returned to her. Even when I am with you, I dread lest evil may have overtaken her in my absence. But the giantess sent me here for some end which I must wait to perform. My mother is the most beautiful woman I have ever seen. Except you."
Just got a minor Oedipal complex.
I'm so glad he added the "except you" part. Helga, in her turn, told him of her lonely life with her fierce old father, and of how she had always longed to have someone of her own age be a companion. "But what shall I do when I am left alone again?" she asked, with tears in her eyes. "Have you considered getting a dog?" "Be comforted," Sigurd said, as he took her hand in his. "I must return to my stepmother, but I will come again and take you away with me to my own home." As they returned, Helga said, "Tomorrow we shall have more freedom, for my father goes to a great gathering of giants, and I will show you over the castle in his absence." When they reached the house, Helga touched him with her ring, and again Sigurd became a bundle of wool, and passed the night on a shelf in the hall. Next morning, almost at break of day, Helga's father departed, and Sigurd was enabled to resume his natural form at once. They walked and talked for some time, and then Sigurd reminded Helga of her promise to show him over the castle. She produced a huge bunch of keys, and together they passed through room after room, each one more beautiful than the last. I always wonder about that. Does the tour start with, like the broom closet and work out from there? Or did the entry room just have like one wooden chair or what? How do they just keep getting more beautiful? And what is that key for? Asked the prince, pointing to a very strange one, which Helga had not yet used. That is to my father's secret room. The key is of a different pattern to all the others. It is indeed, but surely you will not refuse to let me see that room also. And as he spoke, they passed to a door strongly studded with great iron nails. Probably a big sign that says, "Do not enter." He entreated Helga not to refuse his request. "This, I am sure, is the door." "Yes, you are right, but if I open the door, you must only peep in, for I myself am terrified to go inside." Honestly, right there with you. Any of you read Bluebeard? "Nothing can hurt you while you are with me," Sigurd said, placing his arm around her, and with trembling fingers, Helga fitted the key into the massive lock and opened the door a couple of inches. But Sigurd pushed it wide open and boldly stood in the doorway. He is kind of a jerk, really. There he saw a magnificent horse, richly eating golden hay, while suspended to the rafters above its head hung a sword sheathed in gold, with these words engraved on the hilt: "Whoever mounts this horse and is armed with this sword, good luck will ride with him." So, obviously he steals them. Just wait and see. Want to put a bet on it? Sigurd entreated Helga to let him ride the horse once around the castle, and to carry the sword in his hand. Of course he did. At first, Helga would not hear of it. Something terrible would happen, she felt sure. But the young prince pleaded so irresistibly that at last he won her reluctant consent. The horse, she told him, was called Gulfaxi, the Golden Mane. The sword, Gunfjodin, Fighting Blade. Wait. Huh. Gosh, I should have known this would have cut off right in the middle. I hope the next chapter doesn't do that. Join us next week to see if the mama's boy thief gets the girl, the horse, the sword, and saves his beloved mother. Or if more random stuff is thrown in his way as we continue the exciting adventures of Sigurd. Well, it's that time where I ask you to pay tribute and sacrifice to the algorithm. We do this by liking the video, leaving a comment, sharing the stories with new people who might like it, and finally, by subscribing if you haven't already. The algorithm also likes it when you watch the videos right when they are posted, so if you use the notification bell, that will help too. I would like to thank Pixabay.com and their amazing and talented contributors for all the wonderful content that can be found there. If you would like to support me on Patreon, Instagram, or Facebook, there are links in the description below. But most importantly, I want to thank you for watching, for supporting, for being my friend. Thank you. And now for a special thank you for my Patreon supporters.